Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, talking about the racial days. And now, like I say, I lost my mother when I guess I was about 4 or 5 years old. And she was shot. And, uh, and was it a racial thing? I don't know. This is something my dad and we really didn't talk too much about. And my dad was Chinese. My wife was American. You could see the Indian in her, but uh, it was different. And the here this will give you an example. Uh, there's no record, no legal record of my wife's death. There, after I've grown up, and I even trained the Topeka SWAT team. What? No, not the Shawnee County. That's Topeka. Topeka's in Shawnee County. There's SWAT team. But uh, I checked in to my mom's death because I wanted to find out. It was really odd. She's getting shot. I mean, back in those days, it had been early 50s, women didn't commit suicide by shooting themselves. And there was some other stuff that you knew she didn't commit suicide. But I wanted to see the caliber of the bullet and how the bullet entered and all this kind of stuff. And come find out there wasn't no record of her death. And wouldn't you know, it just so happened that those records were just lost or went away. So this is what I'm talking about. One is corrupt. No, this was before law enforcement. This was policing, and so there's been corruption in police. You got to remember, the best police, or I don't know about law enforcement, but best police are criminals. Criminal mindset does really good on looking for criminals and dealing with criminals. You don't be Mr. Nice Guy and deal with criminals. I mean, here you see me as Mr. Nice Guy, but when I get myself in a situation where I'm dealing with criminals, you don't see Mr. Nice Guy, and that's one of the reasons why I said I thought I was going to go into being a deputy, but like I say, I found out it was too many criminal traits came out of me when I was in that situation. But the thing is, so there's been racial problems going on, and they've been bad racial problems. And now this what you have is just an excuse. Now they just use racial as an excuse. That's why the best thing is don't even talk about racial, and that is to slowly do the mindset and change over and start getting things more together like that. Now the problem is they not only there's no difference in all the races and stuff like that. That's where we're getting into the what do you call it, New World Order kind of stuff. I mean, this is one big joyful world, and we're all the same. That type of mentality. So this is what I'm saying. Racial problems is not something you put a law on, and or you give these poor minorities, boost them up the ladder, even though they don't qualify, and that's going to fix the problem. It doesn't. What it does is it dumbs down everybody. And that you can see that in the law enforcement now. The law enforcement, that's why I was saying I don't know about criminals. But I do know because of putting all these different types of nationalities and races and sexes and all kinds of weird stuff into law enforcement, It's different. So then what they do is they write the rules down for them. And then all they got to do is twist the rules around. And that's what's been going on. And but what I saw, now remember, when I came back from Vietnam, I was 19 years old. Let's see, 19? No, I was 18 when I came back. 18? No, I was 19 when I came back. And racial problems were really, really bad. And if you can protest all you want, but you don't damage my business. And I had businesses in which, when I came back, I had businesses in which the people weren't protecting my businesses. So I had to protect my businesses. And I would do what I have to do to protect them. I mean, this is what you got to do. What, you expect the police to do it? What I learned, and I'm not going to tell you the story. I tell you, when face to face, I'll tell you everything. Otherwise, you just got to watch the videos. Crappy Vietnam videos will kind of give you some ideas too. I'll put the link below. And but the thing is, what I learned, I got into a big scrap. I mean, it was, nobody got killed. But I'll tell you the story later on, I mean, face to face. But the thing is, we were a half a block from the police department. And it was definitely a racial problem. And they called me and they told me what was going on. So I came in and I fixed it. And when it was over, I went over to the police and I said, hey, what's the story? Why didn't you, because they called the police and told them what was going on. And then they called me. And then I said, why didn't y'all go over there? And they said, we can't get involved in racial confrontations. And the reason is, when we get involved, we have to make arrests, and then it gets problems. And so, and I said, that's okay, that's all right. I'm glad you told me. And now I don't know nowadays if they'd even tell you. Because the police are real fast on getting in places. Sometimes they're not all that fast. Well, it depends. And like I say, but this thing that I did, it took hours to get done. And there was no police coming by that place at all. And but at least they told me that they can't get involved in racial stuff. And so that was good, because after I understood what was going on, and then I had people that had businesses that would hire me. If you had a white club, you would hire me to keep the blacks out. If you had a black club, you would hire me to keep the whites out. So, I mean, hey, start another business because of the rules that the police were under. Don't get the racial stuff all charged up. So don't get involved in that kind of stuff. That's how I was able to get functioning in this. But really, racial problems need to be just quiet and just make your actions. And if you think you need to hire that poor minority, well, go on and hire that poor minority. I mean, in my businesses, I hired anybody that wants to work, that wants to do something for themselves. What do you hear me talk about? Personal responsibility. That's the key to your racial problems. Personal responsibility, and that same thing. I help. I don't care what color you are. I'll help you. Personal responsibility and morals. Those are the two things you will not find in our society now. Personal responsibility and morals. You're not going to find it in the police. You're not going to find it in the demonstrators. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.